the world, I still got a lot more to prove. Now I'm coming out swinging for your throat in the ring. Standing there bleeding, yeah, you know what I bring. You know what I mean? Dark when the bell is rung, cause it's a little too late now to get up and run. Get up and run. You're broken every part of me. I'm putting up and down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. You see it's the calm before the storm. I was born for more, now you got me ready for war. Remember my name, everybody out of my way. Back up or get knocked out, this ain't a game. Cause I never stay down when they push me around. See the world stand up when they give you the crown. Now it's go time, do or die, dead or alive. You can try to kill me, but I will survive. I will survive. You're broken every part of me. I'm putting everything down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. You can't stop me. Can't stop me. No, 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 you can't stop me. I'm bloodied and I'm beaten down. I keep rising higher, 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 higher. You've broken every part of me. I'm bloodied and I'm beaten down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. Can't stop me, no, can't stop me.
Now, what's up, all y'all triggly bastards, and welcome back to It's 1700 Somewhere. As always, I am Athen.
And I'm Don.
What up, Don? So, yeah. So, as you may have seen if you were there for it on L-Train Fighters, I tried to do something a little bit different, and it ended up not working out quite how I'd like to. I need to do a little bit more working on it and trying to figure things out. So, we'll get that taken care of as soon as we can. Oh, that's why we don't have the brand, because I'm on the ATF brand right now. Bloop. There we go. I had to switch things around. There we go. That's working. Okay. So how are you, Don?
Fucking kill me, man. Work has been a pain in the ass. You know? So I'm getting pulled every which way, and yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So
yeah, you've been telling me a little bit about that. You got some heavy stuff on your plate.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like trying to show my worth and put in the effort, and so I get run ragged. But I mean, it is what it is, given the situation that I'm in. So
right. So and Redneck Pimp, he's checking over there saying Tayo, and he also asked me if we were doing the Spreaker on this episode as well. And with the short period of time between the shows, I wasn't able to get the echo issue locked down and corrected. So,
right,
yeah,
the good old days of echo on Spreaker with 1700.
Yep. So I'm gonna get to work after that, so I can get all that figured out and fixed. But yeah. So we've got a few stories and all that stuff that we can get into. We got a bunch of stories actually that we can get into. I totally lost track of where I was going. So this one right here, pop up, and I need to share my screen, don't I?
Yeah.
So, and I'm actually using two different browsers right now, which is
What about you, man? What's been going on with you? I mean, I know my schedule hasn't allowed me to be on the show, so what's been going on in your life, man?
Mostly just been trying to find myself gainful employment and prepping for shows, and mostly that's it. So
Right.
yeah, but we're right here with this story. We had an elderly couple that used Morse code to escape a care home. So a lot of these stories are going to be a couple weeks old because a lot of these stories are stories that I'd gathered up for last week's show, which we didn't do because of Mother's Day. So I just kind of carried it over to this week. But I do actually have some stories that are a little bit newer that I can throw in here, I think. But
right.
So an elderly couple with dementia managed to escape a care home by using Morse code skills the husband learned in the military. And I actually already read this article, and it's actually pretty interesting. The husband and wife duo.
I already knew it, like by Morse code. And I was like, oh, watch it be like some World War II vet or something like that. And it's like, oh, there it is.
Right. So the husband and wife duo went on the run from the Elmcroft Assisted Living Facility in Lebanon near Nashville, Tennessee, after the man used his armed forces training to crack the home security coded door. The pair broke free after overtime. The husband listened in on staff using an electric door keypad and used his knowledge of Morse code to figure out the number he needed to use to open the door, according to officials. So what I'm assuming is he listened as they were pushing the buttons, and he keyed on what sound each button made in which order, and he was able to go back to the pad and push the buttons and match up the sound as what he was hearing. That's what I'm thinking. It doesn't actually clearly say how he did it inside here because the man has dementia. But the man who has dementia and the woman who has Alzheimer's disease were found wandering around outside a few streets away by a stranger who picked them up and took them back to Elmcroft. They had been missing for around 30 minutes, according to a report by the Tennessee Department of Health Care Home Licensing Board, which launched an investigation into the security breach. During the probe, staff were unable to explain how the couple managed to escape the facility, as officials said. Upon being questioned, the man explained how he had previously worked with Morse code in the military and managed to use the skills to crack the code. A report details how the resident was able to listen to the code when staff punched in the numbers and was able to figure out the number for the numeric code to exit the memory care unit. The couple were not identified in the records. As a result of the breakout, Elmcroft was fined $2,000 by state officials, the Tennessean reported. The facility also vowed to stop similar incidents from happening again by checking on residents more frequently. They also said they will make sure the man who escaped will have more walking time outside the facility with a staff member present, according to state records. The man's daughter has also promised to visit more regularly to take her father outside frequently. Following the incident, the Elmcroft officials said they have also changed all of the combinations on its exit doors. The safety of our residents is a top priority at our senior living community. We are thankful both residents will return to the community safely. A statement from the facility reads, "We reported the situation to the state and their family immediately after it happened and fully cooperated with the state during its review." And that was the end of that story.
That's crazy, man. But then, like, whenever like I hear stuff like that, I mean, I can't like help but imagine, like, I mean, you hear like horror stories of like, the mistreatment of like our elderly, and then like I just can't like I can't help but like I always remember like Happy Gilmore with Ben Stiller and that when his grandma gets like sent to the old folks home.
Right. That's great. So, but it's like, I don't think this particular elderly care facility was really mistreating their patients,
right?
To that, yeah. But it's like it seems like they were noticed to be missing after a half hour. So it seems like they're doing checks on them. They're doing what they can to make sure that they're being taken care of. This dude just kind of who'd have expected a dude with Alzheimer's to be able to memorize the sound of a keypad being punched and figure out a code. And Mickey Saverson says, much better sound quality. Yes, thank you, Mickey. Yes. we're
I
trying
don't
for that.
know.
And
I mean, Alzheimer's is like really weird. I mean, did you hear about that case where like somebody had Alzheimer's but then so like Alzheimer's, you forget certain moments in your life or sections of your life, and it's like a gap of knowledge where like you forget certain things. So this person like had Alzheimer's and forgot that he had Alzheimer's and then like remembered everything in his life.
Good point.
So it's like reverse Uno card on Alzheimer's right there.
So, but Alzheimer's and dementia, they're kind of like dementia is the one I think more what you're talking about. Alzheimer's is the one where you're kind of working your way towards death because that's where your brain's actually starting to break down and deteriorate. Whereas
Right.
dementia is the one where you just forget stuff on a frequent basis, and dementia worsens into Alzheimer's.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But
so, but yeah, with that, we'll go ahead and get into this next story that I've got.
Sure.
Which, if you could pop up my screen
yep,
there.
I got you.
Sweet. Would you like to receive notifications? Sure, why not? All right, so this one is a Florida woman arrested for throwing a Whopper at a Burger King employee's head, yelling racial slurs over a tomato. 77-year-old Florida woman, Judith Black, was arrested last weekend after she admitted to an assault that took place at Sumter County Burger King. The police affidavit states the incident occurred last Friday night when Black reportedly became upset about the thickness of the tomato in her sandwich. The woman reportedly went to the front counter and expressed her frustration to a Burger King employee. And sadly, I'm sorry, kids don't know how to understand the words meaning, hey, could you please not be screaming? The employee told officers she informed Black that she couldn't help until she stopped screaming, and that's when Black threw the Whopper at the employee's head and began shouting racist slurs. Shut up, you black bitch, she allegedly told the staffer, before using the N-word multiple times as she left the restaurant with her husband. Oh, wow. The victim's account was corroborated by witnesses' statements and surveillance video.
I saw her hair and I thought I was like Paula Deen for a second there.
I can see that. Our other Burger King employees were able to get Black's license plate number, which officers used to track Black at her home in a retirement community in Sumter County. She's in a retirement community. Oh, it makes sense. That's just a community that only allows retired people. Police say Black admitted to her actions and was placed under arrest, charged with battery. The Burger King incident would have typically resulted in a misdemeanor. However, due to Black's use of racist slurs, the charges were upgraded to a felony. Black was booked and charged, but released on $2,500 bond on Saturday. Oh, wow. So she got charged with a felony because...
Wait. A felony? This is a misdemeanor.
It would typically
wait. And then, but because of the slurs was upgraded to a felony.
Yep. So
wow.
It was a felony battery, which is actually a fairly serious charge. That's prison time type charge. And yeah, and this is overthrowing a cheeseburger at someone because she said the N-word. And y'all need to watch what you're talking, because I'm just saying on that one. But we got Chris Mine checking in from over there on YouTube, and then DVA Mechanics on Twitch also. So, but yeah, that one's an interesting story. I couldn't leave it out there. I didn't actually read it, so I didn't know she got charged with a felony. Wouldn't that be some shit, though? Get charged for a felony for throwing a cheeseburger at someone? All right.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, of course, it's more to it than that, but...
Yeah, well, I'm sure there is. So, but yeah, and I'm sure she's just going to basically get a slap on the wrist, probably get dropped and all that stuff, because I couldn't see them really throwing the book cheeseburger at someone in this case.
Come on, you're better than that. Throwing the cheeseburger at somebody. The coupon book.
Yeah, the coupon book. Right.
There you go.
For this, I think it'll be a plea bargain or a plea deal or something. It'll get dropped back down to a misdemeanor and
only if she hits bingo.
Yeah. Right. All right. So we got our next story popping up here.
Yep.
This is going to be a Clearwater City Council member, Hoyt Hamilton. He won $1 million Powerball. I think this one is a story about how he actually won like multiple he won 2 jackpots like back to back or something like that, or this is the guy who accidentally threw his winning ticket away. So
you could barely win $5, let alone a jackpot. Then again, if I won the jackpot, you guys wouldn't be seeing me, or you'd be seeing a lot more of me. So
that would be
I don't know which one's worse.
So we got Hamilton picked up his winnings on Wednesday, which would have been last Wednesday. He and his wife Cheryl plan to spend it on college funds for their 4 grandchildren, the Disney cruise, and travel and retirement. Clearwater, on a recent Sunday afternoon. Plan. On a recent Sunday afternoon, Hoyt Hamilton thought he was walking out of Publix with a winning Florida lottery ticket along with the hot dog buns he picked up for lunch. When the customer service clerk scanned Hamilton's Powerball ticket on April 18th, the machine spit out a note saying he had to go to a regional office to collect winnings that were more than $600. Hamilton, 61, the Clearwater City Council member, left the store at Sunset Point and Belker Roads and figured he'd check the Powerball numbers online when he got home. But when he sat down with his tablet, he realized the clerk forgot to hand him back the original ticket. He was like, "Get your ass back to Publix," Hamilton said. When I got there, I asked the clerk, "Have you emptied your garbage yet?" And when she said no, they hadn't, I said, "I need to go through your garbage." Hamilton, the clerk, and another employee who overheard dug through the garbage for about 10 minutes searching for the winning Powerball. His ticket was easy to spot because the first line had the numbers Hamilton always plays whenever he thinks to try the lotto. Birthdays of family and the date of his anniversary. With his wife, Cheryl. Back at his car, relieved, Hamilton pulled up FloridaLottery.com on his phone. The first line, his go-to numbers, had no matches. Then he scanned the second line, the quick pick numbers. First number, 10, a match. Second number, 21, a match. Third number, 26, a match. Fourth number, 41, a match. Fifth number, 49, a match. And sixth number, 25, off by 2. Hamilton looked at the online chart to see what 5 out of 6 matches meant. $1 million. I look at it and I go, holy you know what? Holy shit, most likely. Hamilton said. I was a little bit in shock. Cheryl Hamilton remembers her husband walking through their front door holding up the ticket in his hand. "This is worth $1 million, he told her. A few days later, as they were talking about Christmas, Cheryl Hamilton had said she wanted to give their 4 grandchildren an experience this year like a Disney cruise to Cozumel. They had enough toys. "We're doing the Disney cruise," Cheryl Hamilton remembers shouting back at him. Hamilton considers himself lucky in life, but over the years of playing the lotto here and there, he never won anything more than a few $100s. "I'm a very fortunate person," he said. "I've got a great family. We've got a great business. I've got a great group of friends. I'm truly blessed." His family roots stretch back in Clearwater for more than 100 years. He spent nearly his entire career operating the Palm Pavilion Inn and restaurant his family has owned since 1964, which is a landmark on Clearwater Beach. So he's probably already worth $1 million, so it's like just another $1 million. He first ran for city council in 2001 to fill a vacant seat, was re-elected in 2002, and won a third term in 2005. His first years in office covering the city's massive redevelopment of Clearwater Beach into a resort destination. He resigned in 2006, and it's a good time to win the Powerball after the 24% of the Florida lottery took off the top for federal income tax. Hamilton picked up his check on Wednesday from the lottery's Tampa office for $740,000. He calculated he will pay $140,000 in taxes next year on his winning. So he gets $600,000. Yeah, that's not bad at all. They plan to put $50,000 in a college fund for each of their 4 grandchildren, all now under the age of 8. The remaining $540,000 has been put in an investment fund for retirement and travel. He says he's not going to buy a Bentley or anything like that. Hamilton said, "I'm sticking with what I've got and will do some traveling when I'm no longer on the council in 10 months. The couple told their 2 adult sons and close friends within days of their good luck. But even now, it's still sinking in. Funniest part to me was that my $1 million was sitting in a trash can for 2 hours. So that would be a hell of a situation to realize.
Right.
You just, effectively $600,000. But either way, it was in a trash can for a couple hours. So, oops, wrong hole.
There we go. I got you.
There we go.
They're also, they're also like playing it kind of risky to go on a cruise, like this much after a whole pandemic and everything. Because when everything started, like you had people on cruises that were pretty much trapped on board the ship for like months on end.
True,
Right.
but I think we're kind of beyond that now at this point. No one's really trying to worry about that much. Like I was saying, like even here in Northern California, I'm at like 90% of the places we go, they're not like nobody cares about a mask.
Well, yeah.
So,
Well, that's Northern California. That and the CDC just, released their whole ruling on if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear one. If you could prove it with that card. Oh, flashback to that other story about that person forging vaccination cards. That's where it would come in handy. But
yep, that's where it was. But I also I saw some stuff regarding that recently. They were talking
Right.
about forging. It's because it is an actual, I guess, document used by the government to actually dictate whether or not someone is viably diagnosed. That is technically actually forgery. So
okay. Yeah, I know we got into the technicalities of all that. So, but then again, I mean, well, I was thinking of like of other like, oh, so like, I guess that means you could also, make a fake library card, and then that would be forgery because that's under the government bubble. In a way,
actually, it would technically, in fact, count.
Right.
I would assume on that if you because then you might also even be able to get into realms of even being charged for theft because you're taking books from the library that you don't have permission to take.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
We'll stop arguing semantics.
It's all filler. It's all good.
Yep. So I gotta do something real quick. But we're gonna get into. Do we want to? We'll save that for a just in case story. So we'll go into this story.
All right. Let's see what we got.
All right. So this is about a town.
Yep.
So I'll go ahead and read this one. I just got done with what I was doing. I had to send a text real quick.
No, you're good.
Italian town selling historic homes for $1. So I did read this article, and there are legit some homes here that are being sold for $1, but they're not in very good shape. So have you ever wanted to own a house in a picturesque Italian town with cobblestone streets and gorgeous views directly out of your home window? Good news, you can now get one at a real bargain. In fact, it'll be about the price of a cup of coffee, or even cheaper. The Sicilian town of Castiglione di Sicilia is selling off houses at the astronomical price of roughly $1. You can have your pick too. There are more than 900 houses for sale at stupendously affordable prices. The location of the town couldn't be better either. Castiglione di Sicilia sits on the verdant slopes of Mount Etna, with the beaches of the Sicilian coastline only 10 miles away. All right, what gives? This is just too good to be true. What's the catch? They want to save their town. Believe it or not, there really isn't much of a catch. The town's mayor, Antonio Cremata, says that the houses are being sold dirt cheap for one simple reason. It's an effort to keep Castiglione de Sicilia in existence. The town is facing a major population crisis in the sense that there soon won't be any population left. In its heyday in the early 1900s, Castiglione di Sicilia had some 14,000 residents, whereas today they're lucky to reach 3,000. As a result of the exodus, the town is now chock full of empty, historically significant houses, says Camarda. We have a huge architectural heritage to rescue, packed with history, he told CNN. Over time, too many people have left, leaving behind a bunch of old, picturesque houses, many even dating back to the Renaissance. A handyman's dream. If you're scrambling for your wallet to buy your very own Sicilian villa, hold your horses for just a minute longer. We said there wasn't much of a catch, but there still is a catch. You see, some of the houses are in questionable condition. Put it mildly, in an effort to save them from complete ruination, buyers have to commit to renovating the houses within 3 years. As part of Castiglione di Sicilia's house offloading scheme, each house has been priced according to condition. We've carried out an in-depth study cataloging each property based on maps and land registry data. According to their condition, buildings will be sold at different prices starting from $1, explained Camarda. You can probably guess that the $1 homes are basically barely standing skeletons of a house. You still don't have to break the bank to get an Italian summer home that's in better condition. Houses requiring only minimal renovations go for around $5,000 to $6,000. Of course, you might be one of the DIY kind of folks who love a good home renovating challenge. Still, you should be prepared to do a bit of paperwork before heading to the cashier. Castiglione di Sicilia requires all potential buyers to submit a detailed description of the kind of house they'd like. In addition, they need to hand in a plan about how they intend to renovate the place. It might sound like a lot of work, but it makes sense if you consider the town's perspective. They're trying to breathe new life into the locale. The last thing they want is people to buy the cheap houses only to leave them sitting and falling into further ruin. Despite it all, it's still a pretty good deal. To begin with, the town doesn't require buyers to pay a deposit for the houses, unlike many other places with similar schemes. New homeowners will have to get an insurance policy from a local bank, priced at around $5,000 in the grand scheme of things. That's really not too bad. There are also some tax benefits to be reaped. Taxes in Sicily are low compared to elsewhere in Italy. Homeowners can also benefit from the Italian government's 110% tax credit scheme for renovations that make houses more environmentally friendly. And then it goes, I'll read this last couple paragraphs. As we already mentioned, Castiglione di Sicilia makes for pretty much an ideal vacation home locale. The landscape around the town is nothing short of breathtaking. The surrounding Alcantara Valley has dozens of crystal-watered streams and waterfalls that cut through olive groves and vineyards. There are plenty of opportunities for hiking, rafting, biking, horse riding. The place is an outdoorsman's dream. If that sounds too sporty for you, there are miles and miles of white sandy beaches within a half-hour drive. And that's without mentioning the local food, like pastas and desserts and wines. You know what? This is starting to sound pretty dang good. Where can we submit an application? So,
$5,000 for insurance? I wonder if that's like straight up or actually broken up, over the course of a year. But then again, what they don't also get into is, you have to have a plan for renovations on your house. But a lot of times with some countries, what actually happens is like there's actually rules that you have to abide by when it comes to renovating a historical building. Right.
Yeah.
Like you can't change like certain aspects of the house. Like you can't even change like certain colors for the house. Like, I saw one show where this lady was basically like, renovating like an old Scottish castle. And like on the outside of her house, they like the historical society or whatever governing group in that area was basically like, it could either be yellow or it could be pink. So that's like one of those things. And so, I mean, this place can have, of course, different rules depending on, since it is a different country and how they handle that type of thing. So that, like, it's like a big gamble, but a house for $1, well, a house for what, $5,001 isn't too bad,
But then you also have to kind of start wondering, those $1 houses, how much is it going to take to renovate them? Because if they're a mostly fallen down shell of a historical house, you're going to have to get masons in there, do brickwork and all kinds of shit.
But it doesn't say that you have to be complete within 3 years. It just says you have to start renovating within 3 years.
True.
So what? If you pay a certain amount to at least get some people in there to make some progress with the house, I mean, it can be a small enough investment.
That's true. I don't know. To me, it almost sounds like going for one of the more expensive $5,000 or $6,000 ones, and then just doing the $5,000 insurance that it requires. It sounded like to me those are going to be mostly livable houses as it is, and then just toss some of the costs in there for the renovation. So I think that would probably be the most cost efficient way of doing it, is getting one of the higher end ones, and you're still getting the house.
Oh yeah.
For $10,000-$20,000. So
right.
In Sicily, which
as long as travel restrictions actually let up, so you can actually visit your vacation home.
So, but if you are looking for a vacation home in Sicily for a reasonable price, there you go. Hopefully there's still some available, and make sure you look into everything regarding it before you go to it.
Right.
If I had money, I might actually try it, but
It's
All
a
right, here's
dollar.
another. Right, here's another Florida man story we got coming up right here. This is one. If you could pop my screen up.
Yeah, I got you.
Cool. So this is one I thought the earlier one was. This one right here. Florida man wins 2 jackpots in 2 years. This time it's $1 million. So in Hillsborough County, Florida, Hillsborough County man has luck, real luck, that's paying off time and time again. The Florida Lottery announced that Michael Lancaster, 64 of Seffner, claimed a $1 million top prize from the new Cash Club scratch-off game using a secured drop box located at the Tampa District office. This win comes 2 years after claiming $500,000 top prize from the $500,000 jackpot multiplier scratch-off game. Lancaster chose to receive his winnings as a one-time lump sum payment of $880,000. Lancaster purchased his winning ticket from Seffner Sitco, located at 930 West US Highway 92 in Seffner. The retailer will receive $2,000 bonus commission for selling the winning scratch-off ticket. Cash Club features 10 top prizes of $1 million and gives players the chance to win $20 to $500 instantly with 4 additional bonus plays. When players scratch a 5x or 10x symbol, they can win 5 or 10 times the prize shown. This $10 game offers more than $146 million in total cash prizes, and the overall odds are 1 in 3.38. And those are odds of winning anything, and that's the end of that article. So
Wow. But that's like that much off of a scratcher? That's ridiculous.
You don't see that very often. But yeah, the dude won in 2-3 years. He won $1.5 million from scratchers.
Right.
So, I mean, damn, I wish I had that kind of luck.
Who is driving this karma bus? And it's like, who do I need to sweet talk? You know,
Right? Freaking, I think the most I've ever won off a scratcher was like $90.
Yeah, not even here. It's like, I don't know, like a few dollars. Yeah, pretty much enough to like break even on like whatever I'm spending on those.
Right.
But
So, and I mean, that's usually how I do it. I'll win like a couple bucks to just kind of make it have made sense. Ooh, I didn't lose any. That's usually how it goes. But
right.
one time I won $90 on like a $1 scratch. I was pretty happy on that. But yeah. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still $90.
Yeah, right. So coming into the next story, we're going to talk about a Florida man who flew to Portland to break into a women's cars at daycare. So you got my screen pulled up there?
Yeah, yep.
Cool. So Florida man flew to Portland to break into women's cars at daycares, parks, and gyms. Then they're still their IDs, prosecutor says. Damian Bernard Fletcher and his crew broke into at least 32 cars, stole $98,733, and attempted to cause further losses of nearly $122,000. Together, they cashed 22 checks at 5 different banks, resulting in $57,650 lost to the banks. Fletcher is one of 6 defendants charged in the case and the first to be sentenced.
Wait, who keeps that stuff in their car? Who keeps their ID and checks and valuables like in their car like that?
Women do it. Like they're going someplace where they don't want to carry their purse. Desiree does it all the time. She'll leave her purse in the car, and I'm like, okay, cool, but we'll lock the car, but windows can be broken. But yeah, women do actually do that for some reason. It's like, or she'll leave her wallet at home without her ID. So often she's caught without an ID. It's like, you should never not have an ID. You should have your ID.
Yeah, that's debatable.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not planning on doing anything wrong, it's a good idea to always have your ID on.
Just regardless. I'm going to walk to the park. Do you really need ID? I'm going to go for a jog. Do you really need ID?
I would say yes, because my thoughts on it are it allows you to be identified in case...
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
In case you get knocked unconscious or one of these missing 411 things happens to you and you end up freaking not knowing what the hell's going on 1,000 miles away from where you're at, it'd be nice to have an ID so people can figure things out. But yeah, those are my ideas on it. Plus also have the Navy drove it in to never go anywhere without your ID. So
Yeah, screw that. It's like you and cops think the same way. Oh, you need identification for everything. And it's like, no, you don't.
oh, my reasoning isn't because of cops. That's not why. I mean, if anything, that's the reason I understand why you wouldn't want to take your ID with you all the time. But at the same time, if a cop asks you to ID yourself and you deny to ID yourself to them, that just gives them suspicion to you can go on any other type of
Or not
whatever.
even denying. It's like you. I mean, if you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have to You shouldn't have to identify yourself.
I understand that. I get that. I know that. But think of every situation. Whenever a person typically goes into saying, "Why do you need to know who I am?" It usually becomes an encounter with an officer that goes downhill real quickly. But we're not trying to get into that scenario.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
Anyways,
Florida,
don't keep important stuff in your car.
yes. So a Florida man and his alleged accomplices traveled to Portland with the sole purpose of breaking into women's cars. Typically by cruising parks, daycares, and gyms, steal their purses, wallets, and identification, and then recruited locals to cash almost $100,000 forged checks at banks around town, federal prosecutors said. Damian B. Fletcher, 27, and his alleged cohort found women with drug addictions and homeless people to impersonate the victims and collect the money. Okay, said Assistant U.S. Attorney Seth Urim. So people who will do anything for just a little bit of money. The freaking cheapskates. Fletcher and his conspirators would use the outermost lane of a bank drive-up window, so it would be harder for a bank teller to compare stolen driver's license photo to the impersonator, and to ensure a quicker getaway if someone became suspicious. Fletcher was sentenced Monday to just over 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit bank fraud and aggravated identity theft. He was also ordered to pay $98,733 in restitution. He is one of 6 defendants charged in the case and the first to be sentenced. Four of the other defendants are from Florida. One is from Washington State. He and his crew also flew to Washington State and Colorado to commit a similar scheme, Urim said. Prosecutors described Fletcher as part of a so-called felony lane gang, an interstate criminal group based in Florida that travels to locations throughout the country to commit vehicle break-in and fraud. Law enforcement and bank personnel have dubbed the outer lane in a bank drive-up as the felony lane because it's the chosen lane for such crimes, Urim wrote in his sentencing memo. Fletcher and his group broke into at least 32 cars in the Portland area and stole $98,733 after cashing 22 checks at 5 banks, according to court records. The banks were able to stop payment on some of the checks, but ultimately lost $57,650. They tried to cash another $122,000 in checks, but were rejected. Fletcher and his co-conspirators were in some instances bold enough and uncaring enough to prey on women who left their cars for only a few minutes to walk their children in daycare locations. Wow. Other women lost items of significant sentimental value, according to court documents. One had a wedding ring stolen, another had a purse snatched that was one of the last gifts she received from her elderly father. Fletcher flew from Fort Lauderdale to Portland at least 3 times between September 2019 and November 2019, staying in Portland from 2 to 5 weeks at a time. Fletcher's defense lawyer, Jamie Kilberg, described his client's crimes as unsophisticated as a bank fraud case can be. Fletcher didn't make fake IDs or counterfeit checks, for example. Kilberg said he also didn't have a criminal history, his lawyer said. Fletcher is the father of a 3-year-old son who has lived his entire life in the Fort Lauderdale area. Kilberg said Kilberg sought a lesser sentence of 2 years and 6 months. But while the prosecutor agreed that Fletcher's crime spree wasn't complicated or terribly technical, he described it as extremely personal, saying that Fletcher and the other smash-and-grab defendants hit cars just as their owners and occupants had walked away or were about to return. Okay, don't really have to read the rest of it because there's just kind of legal stuff on it. But, yeah, dude, so they were just like, they'd see someone get out of a car and they'd run up to it and smash the window.
Yeah, what also makes me wonder is, like, what exactly makes it aggravated?
Aggravated robbery? I don't know.
No, aggravated identity theft.
Oh, aggravated identity
Like, what's
theft?
the difference between, like, regular identity theft and then aggravated identity theft?
Well, the only thing I could assume is that it's actually, like, active. They actually are breaking into the people's property to do it, whereas identity theft on another way you would get typically from stealing it off the internet, don't you?
but generally aggravated indicates like a sense of emotion behind it, right?
Yeah.
And so,
I don't know. I don't.
because there's like assault, and then there's like, or like aggravated assault, and then there's like I don't know, other examples of aggravated, some other insert other crime here, but I've never heard of like an aggravated identity theft, or it'd be like what, an aggravated case of what, cyber terrorism or hacking or aggravated breaking and entering or aggravated speeding, aggravated jaywalking, I guess.
See.
It's kind of weird. But then again, that's like, it just, I don't know. I'm not sure on like the actual action on how, like
Let's
what.
see what Google says.
Yeah.
So aggravated identity theft, 18 USC 128A. Simply stated, aggravated identity theft occurs when someone knowingly transfers, possesses, or uses without permission identification of another person, and then uses that identification during and/or in relation to the act of a particular felony violation. So apparently,
is
it sounds
there
like
a regular identity theft or like an accidental?
I could assume maybe an accidental. Well, even then, if you're stealing someone's identity, how can it really be an accident?
Right. So it just means that it's by de facto aggravated.
Yeah,
right.
That's what it looks like.
So there's like no level of escalation.
It doesn't seem like it because, I mean, right there, it's just like the definition of it is what identity.
You doing it. Right.
So interesting.
I don't know. All right. The legal system.
They're confusing. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get on to reading the little reads things that I have for.
There you go.
Stuff. Let me find the page and the stuff for it. All right. It's right there. All right. So make sure you go over to the W Entertainment Facebook page and you check us out on W Entertainment. You'll get to find out information about the shows and when we have it getting put out, and information about Warrior Fest. There's also the WHQ, which is the Facebook group. Remember to check out on Tuesdays at 1200, Where's My Girl with host Roy Anthony. That is a comedy show. Tuesdays 1700 Central, we have W Radio Show with Redneck Pimp, Goose, and Tater. That's a comedy / news / just kind of talking about stuff show. Wednesday, 1900 Central, we have Blue Phoenix Gaming with Jen. She plays video games, and she also talks about video games. And then we have Thursdays at 1200, Where's My Girl again with Roy Anthony. And Thursdays at 1400, we have Cars and Coronas with Gapple Bays. He plays, what he does for his show is he'll play car games. Sometimes he'll go on and do reviews of supercar wins, supercar fails. His show is pretty much all about cars. He talks about cars and kind of that kind of stuff. Thursdays at 1700 Central, we have the Harambe Keeper with Mickey. He goes on and he just talks about whatever he wants to talk about for the most part. Fridays, usually it tends to encircle veterans issues and helping some veterans who need assistance with stuff and stuff like that. Fridays, 1900 Central, you have the Hideout on Spreaker, which that's only on Spreaker, and that is my show where I play music, themed music. Last week was sea shanties and Viking chants. This week we're going to be doing songs from TV and movies, and trying to focus more around actually being performed by the actors themselves. So, for example, David Bowie in Labyrinth. Friday at 2100, Married with Comedy with James and Jeff. Saturday at night, and that's a comedy show. That's not a WO Entertainment show. That is a show that we are allowing them to just put onto the WO Entertainment Facebook page. Saturdays at 1900 is Hot Boxing with Matt, and that's a barbecue show. And then Sundays at 1400 and 1700 Central, respectively, is the Ale Train Fighters with Athen and Don, and it's 1700 Summer with Athen and Don. On those shows, the Ale Train Fighters, we talk about gaming, music, TV, movie, comic book stuff, science, tech. Sometimes we'll even get into like creepypasta type stuff if we feel like it. That's nerd culture stuff over there, and then we come over here for Florida Man stories and all the other important news that doesn't depress you, like all the political stuff that's going on in the world right now. No, that's not what we cover. Anyway, also
Right.
we're trying to work into getting our shows here, like ATF and 1700 Summer, also simulcast on Spreaker so we can get more traction over there. And I have to work some bugs out for audio technical issues. And also, don't forget to check out our sponsor, OVV Barbecue. You can see them, their little icon thing down in the bottom right corner there. And Mickey's saying he misses playing Skyrim, and he commented on Florida man committing a felony. And yes, Florida man did, in fact, commit a felony. All right, so now we'll get on to another story here. Did I cover the Reeves?
Yeah.
About what do you think? Okay, cool. Oh, no, is that the last story I've got? All right.
I mean, you went straight up to the page and then like read them off. So,
so let's see here. All right. Florida woman goes airborne in car dealership. Passenger killed. Oh, this is this
airborne?
one's interesting. Yeah, this isn't the first time she's done this.
Wait, what?
From what I've heard, this is like I read comments on the article. I haven't actually read the article yet, but people were saying she'd done it before. So investigators say a woman previously convicted of DUI manslaughter, yes, is facing new charges after crashing into a car dealership in Tampa. The Florida Highway Patrol captured the crash on camera. Investigators said an FHP sergeant clocked a speeding Hyundai going 111 miles per hour on the driveway. The Florida Highway Patrol sergeant came up behind the car to pull over the driver when the car veered off the road, hit an embankment, and flew into the Gator Ford car dealership, where it hit a concrete pole and a palm tree before landing upside down in the sales lot. So what okay, passenger killed. Okay. What the sales lot? Troopers arrested Jennifer Carvajal, 24. Investigators said she tried to walk away from the scene. An unidentified 22-year-old man from Plant City died from his injuries. A 20-year-old woman and 19-year-old man from Plant City suffered serious injuries, according to the crash report. Investigators said Carvajal was the only one in the car wearing a seatbelt. Carvajal remains hospitalized with injuries. WTSP reported Carvajal was previously convicted following a DUI manslaughter arrest in 2014, according to the Florida Department of Corrections. She received 5 years in prison in 2016, but was released in 2019. The Florida Highway Patrol said Carvajal did not have a driver's license. She was on probation, and the crash happened during a time she should have been under a curfew. Carvajal faces charges of DUI manslaughter, DUI serious injury, DUI property damage, driving without a driver's license, and that's going to be a felony one there as well, and violation of probation. Yeah, several of them on that. So she's back in jail without bail, and she's going to get the violation of probation because she was driving without a license, because she was intoxicated, because she was driving when she should have been in curfew. She's going to be in prison for a long time after this one. Holy, how? What is the
try to walk away? I mean, if anything, seatbelts save lives, for one. Yep. So, but that's just, that's crazy. That's impressive for her to attempt to walk away from hitting an embankment, get airborne, hit a dealership sign, a dealership concrete pole and a palm tree, land upside down, and then just for her to just brush it off.
She was drunk though. At 111 miles an hour. What I have going through my mind is you already served prison time for this exact same thing. What did you not learn in the first place? Hey, maybe I shouldn't drive while drunk. It's just mind-boggling that you're going to have killed someone while driving drunk and then go drive drunk again.
Right. But how old she they said she was what, 20?
24, I think is what she was. So she was underage and drunk in the first one too.
Oh, the first time she was. See, I thought they said that she was 20 and then the guy was 19. So
a couple of people, there was 3 or 4 passengers in the car. So let's go back to the article.
Really?
Yeah. So a 22-year-old man from Plant City was killed. There was also a 20-year-old
so she's 24. Then there's a 22-year-old guy, a 20-year-old woman, and a 19-year-old guy.
Mm-hmm. And she was arrested in 2014, which is 7 years ago,
Yeah.
at 24. So she would have been 17 at that time when she got in a DUI accident and killed someone.
Wow. So only one person died from that?
In this accident, yes, only one person died. The other ones said they had serious injuries. The other two.
Did it show the car?
Let me see at the top. Oh, there's video too. So let's see.
Wow.
Do you have
So
my screen
probably
popped up?
one of the passengers in the back, it looks like.
So these are. Let's see what this video has right
When
here.
I get my box,
It has
Kill
a
your sound.
It has an ad. That's what it has. Huh?
every season
Kill your
there's
sound.
amazing products that I get to choose from.
There you go.
Okay.
Can you make that full screen or? Well, after
yes.
this ad, of course.
We should be able to play sound on this.
All right. Coming up. And then
Like,
face the.
going 111.
Whoa!
Holy shit! Damn.
Where's the palm tree?
I don't know, but if she's going
My box, the whole
if she's going
world
111
is
miles an hour, like why did the cop get so close to her ass, dude?
I don't know.
Because like watching that video, that's definitely damn. Oh, there's.
Oh,
a
that's
palm tree.
where. That's the impact.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wait.
after she hit the car.
Where's the
and
palm
tumbled.
tree?
It's in the right center of the picture, right there, leaned over onto.
Oh. Okay.
So this is after she went over the embankment, hit the car
Right.
in the dealership lot, and then
Yeah.
landed here, and then bounced and took all that out. Jeez.
Wow.
Like that's crazy. And like I'm not saying I'm not trying.
Oh, there's
to
more.
defend
There's
it.
more
I mean,
photos of it.
Yeah. Well, I watched. Those are the photos. There was only 4 there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
We're gonna
And
watch
that's the
this
video we just watched.
Yeah, I want to watch it again real quick.
But
It's a new way.
It's like, given everything, like I'm not trying to justify anything for her at all or reason for her at all, but the accident, that wreck, was completely entirely caused by the fact that officer got so close to her rear end.
was it though? Sounded like. I mean, it almost looks like she freaked out and then like
as he got
went
up
to
on
pull
her,
over and then like she just jerked the wheel and she just went flying. See?
Yep. Because she lost control of being able. Yep. And damn. That's some insanity there. There you go, folks. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
So I had a couple other articles. Oh, so that's the last article that I had pulled up for 1700 somewhere, but I do have a couple ATF articles that I can put in here that I actually wanted to. I put in the wrong spot.
Sure.
So we've got this one right here. All right, am I still brought up as far as my screen?
Yeah, I got you.
So, and I figured this one might actually offer a fair amount of conversation between you and I, because you're gonna have one of those questions as to like how and why. Student jailed after using KFC app glitch to order 6,500. I think that's pounds or
Yes,
euros.
it's pounds.
6,500 pounds worth of free chicken. All right. So a student who ordered 6,500 pounds worth of free food after discovering a glitch in the KFC's online ordering system has been jailed. Zhu, 23 from China, managed to secure himself bucket upon bucket of free chicken by manipulating a voucher system for 6 months. He also shared the secret with 4 friends who collectively took a combined total of 15,500 pounds worth of food before they were stopped. Zhu was, or maybe that's Shu, I don't know, was ordering a takeaway via KFC's phone app using a voucher in April 2018 when he discovered the glitch. Between April and October that year, he effectively managed to generate endless free food vouchers by switching between the KFC app and the company's store on WeChat, China's equivalent of WhatsApp. Using this method, he found he could place an order using the voucher, but it would also still remain in his account. Shu then sold some of the meals for a cut price to his classmates while also eating them himself. His friends who exploited the glitch in a similar fashion got away with food worth between 1,000 pounds and 5,200 pounds each. The group were eventually caught and they admitted committing fraud. This week, at a court in Shanghai, Zhu Shu was jailed for 2.5 years and fined £700 over the scheme, while his friends were jailed for between 2 years and 13 months. And that is the end of that article. So, and this is what I was going to, this is what I was thinking. We're going to be like, well, what's the grounds of him being arrested on it? Because he didn't, I don't think he really exploited anything in the sense of this. It was just something that was a glitch that he discovered and kind of kept rolling with it.
Yeah, but it's, Chinese fraud. So
Yeah. So it is also China, which they're a lot more strict on things. But
yeah, because it's like what, a 7-year prison sentence, but only a $200 fine. Oh, £200 fine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's all over the place there.
It is, and it's like I'm like, here in America, do you think that someone would actually get into legal trouble for something like this? Do you think that's
yes?
You think someone would actually get in legal trouble? You think so?
Yeah, KFC would sue him.
Yeah, but that's technically not.
It's America, the land of lawsuits.
True. They would get. I guess technically that could be considered legal trouble, but in the sense of legal trouble, I meant being arrested.
They would hit him with some gray area of within the terms of service, or in the user agreement. It was oh, well, you click that you wouldn't use this for, any pervasive ways, or in fraud, or you would be legitimate in using this app, and then you didn't. Yep. And so in violation of these rules, we're gonna sue you.
Yeah, actually, yep.
Because who knows what's in that fine print?
That's accurate. Because really reads a EULA, but everything has a EULA. So
just nowadays, think about it. Even if you were to I don't know, buy a video game now, all of them have a user agreement before you even play it. So what happens when you hit no? Can you just return your game, get your full money back for it? What's one of those things where it's where exactly do you draw the line? They just expect everybody to agree to everything.
Yeah. So, that's kind of what they can hide anything in those EULAs because everyone knows nobody reads the EULA because, like you're saying, when you're trying to play a game, you're not trying to sit there and read. And those EULAs are long legal mumbo jumbo shit. So.
Right. And there's people that have edited those EULAs and sometimes contracts. They'll put whatever their own line of something. And then of course, they don't expect consumers to read those. But then again, a lot of those companies don't read those either. So
true. Oh, that's why I've got all these. No, my pop-up blockers are still running. That's weird. Okay. So I must be getting lots of bat for these ads that I'm seeing. All right. So here's another article I have. Is my screen up? Do you see it over there?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. Massive football fish emerges from the depths and is washed up on beach. So I'm going to have a little bit of backstory on this. This is a kind of newer story that I got for this week. Recently here in California, they've been having lots of different types of deep sea creatures actually washing up on shore. This last week, there was an Australian naval ship that pulled into port in Southern California and had a couple large whales stuck underneath it. And
really?
there have been other, they were dead, obviously, but there were two large whales stuck underneath the hull of this Australian naval ship. And there's been several other incidents of fish from deep, deep in the ocean coming up on shore. Like this one, they call it a football fish. This is actually, why am I going blank?
Maybe it's in the article.
It should be in the article. Emerges from the depths and is washed up on beach. This is a deep, deep sea fish, too. A rare football fish washed up on the deep sea, from the deep sea onto a California beach. And what made it an even more remarkable sight was it was fully intact. A beachgoer, Ben Estes, was walking along the shore in Newport Beach in Orange County on Friday morning when he spotted a strange-looking fish. Big, round-shaped, dark-colored fish lay in the sand at Crystal Cove State Park. Estes told park rangers and lifeguards about the fish. The following day, Davies Locker Sport Fishing and Whale Watching, a boat tour company, shared several photos of the creature and identified it as a Pacific football fish measuring 18 inches. It's not a football fish. That's freaking anglerfish. That's what it is. Rare find.
Yeah, it's a deep sea angler. Anglerfish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Washed up in Newport Beach on Friday morning, Davies Locker tweeted on Saturday. On Facebook, the boat tour company wrote that though the fish itself is not rare, it is extremely rare to see one this intact along a beach in Southern California. Unlike most fish, the Pacific football fish utilizes luminescent lures on the tips of a fishing pole looking projection from its head to draw in prey. It lurks deep in the dark depths of the ocean. The football fish was taken in by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and it was not immediately clear what would become of it. And that's the end of that article. But it's just weird that stuff like this is happening like that, especially in like the Southern California areas. Like this fish is completely black and it uses the bioluminescence to catch prey. So that thing that you saw dangling off its face.
Yeah, I'm like looking at a bunch of Google images of like these anglerfish, and this thing is like a monstrosity.
Mm-hmm.
And it is deep sea, and so like when you bring it up, to our level of sea,
Mm-hmm.
they do suffer a form of decompression, so like their actual proportions distort. So there's some picture like there's some pictures that are like this will haunt you in your dreams. Let me show you like this right here. Open image, new tab. Like look at that.
Yeah. Another thing about the anglerfish that will like haunt your dreams is the way they reproduce. So male anglerfish are small little things, and the way they reproduce is they actually go on and attach themselves to the female and become a part of the female. Like
What?
they permanently fuse themselves to the female and they become a part of the female, which is kind of crazy. Like these anglerfish are crazy fish, and they get fairly large. They're a really deep water fish. And you said they probably have some sort of decompression sickness, which might have.
Look at this.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
That
assuming
almost looks like a shrimp.
Yeah, it does. I'm assuming the one on the bottom left corner. No.
Yeah.
Which one would you say is the one most similar to the one in the picture? Probably the one on the middle right.
Like this one, or maybe this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or it's I mean, that's the one from the picture.
Yeah, that's the one from the article.
It just washes up on shore.
So, and that's actually really cool looking. Like, but what makes me curious and want to wonder is what's causing fish like this to come from the depths that they live at, because they live in the pitch black depths of the ocean.
Right.
Like, let's do a Google real quick and see what depth they're typically found at.
I just
So
there we go. Let's ask Wiki. Anatomy, behavior, reproduction, human consumption. Yeah, no. Doesn't really
there's nothing that I can see really.
What depth do live? 6,600 feet.
6,600. Yeah, that's pretty deep.
Also known as the humpback anglerfish, medium size, 7 inches. Anglerfish lives in a. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. A certain zone in the open ocean, living at depths at least 6,600 feet or 2,000 meters.
All right.
It lives its life in the complete absence of sunlight.
So they live deeper than a mile under the ocean, and that's kind of, how are they getting above that?
Yeah, it's like what, almost 2 miles?
Mm-hmm. How are they getting above that upper limit of where they can live in that sense? Like maybe they're just swimming in a direction where the ocean shallows out, and they don't even notice it. But even then,
I mean,
like, how is it happening?
what? Maybe like deep sea currents or some other fish, takes it up higher, or it
That
dies,
could
gets
be.
caught by a current, gets brought up to a higher, I don't know, can you really call it elevation in the sea? And then like some other fish just, I mean, who knows, man?
So, yeah, so it's in Asia, especially Korea and Japan, monkfish liver. So monkfish, I think, is a type of that's the other type of fish that I heard actually washed up here in California, Southern California recently was a monkfish. Monkfish liver is known as chemo, is considered delicacy. Anglerfish is especially heavily consumed in South Korea, where it is featured as the main ingredient in dishes such as a gujjam. So they're even fishing these fish from those depths. Okay. So that's a
No
hell of
idea, man.
a fishing trip. So, but yeah. So I just want to keep listening for other things because you hadn't heard about that Australian ship that came into port in Southern California in San Diego. Yeah,
No, I haven't been keeping up with like the news or world events actually.
it was big. It was big news. So
Like I barely keep up with like video game news.
yeah, 4 days
Or-
ago, whales found dead under Australian Navy ship at Naval Base San Diego. Um, Two dead fin whales were dislodged from the hull of a Royal Australian Navy ship that has been conducting exercises in Southern California. The destroyer HMAS Sydney was pulling into a pier at Naval Base San Diego on Saturday morning when the carcasses of the two whales dislodged from the hull under the surface, the Australian Department of Defense told KSWB. One whale, 65 foot long, and the other was about 25 foot long. And there's video here of it.
One of the most
And it does.
It's almost like the ship just like ran over them. They got stuck and they just like drug them along until they finally got to San Diego and then they like dislodged.
And that's what it sounded like. And it's like, how did they hit? Either way, they're going to know they hit something.
Two whales are dead after a Navy ship struck them here.
Were they dead before the ship hit them?
Skyfox was above
Why is our speed through the water so slow? It's like we got some drag.
Right.
Into Naval Base San Diego this morning. Two whale carcasses dislodged from the hull of that ship. The dead whales were taken to the harbor on base. Crews are expected to remove them. The Australian Department of Defense released
crews are expected to remove them
seriously and is disheartened by the incident.
Shore duty or shore.
Story,
what is it?
As it develops.
Shore ops. When you go out, you have to go out to the pier duty, and do shit. I can't remember what it was. I only did it a few times. But yeah, so and a lot of
crew.
Yeah, sea anchor crew. The Sydney has been holding joint exercises with the U.S. Navy in the area since April. The Navy takes marine mammal safety seriously and is disheartened this incident occurred. And U.S. and Australian agencies will jointly review the incident. Fin whales are found off the San Diego coast all year long, and the dead whales could have been a mother and her calf. Research biologists at the Cascadia Research Collective in Washington told KSWB. Because of the speed and size of large ships, it is not uncommon for the whales they strike to be discovered only when the ship slows down. In the vast majority of cases I'm familiar with, the ship is unaware of having struck the whale. He said the ship strikes also are suspected in the deaths of the fin whale and two gray whales found last month in the San Diego-San Francisco Bay Area, experts said. The causes of death haven't been determined for a pygmy sperm whale and 5 other gray whales found dead in the Bay Area this year, according to the Marine Mammal Center. So,
wow,
it's just like I can't see them not knowing that they hit something. First of all,
right?
Unless you're in choppy sea, rough sea, and you're cresting a wake and all that stuff, you might then not be able to recognize that you actually struck a whale.
I mean, that is highly likely, but or it could be like, oh, it seems like we hit something. Look around. Oh, I don't see anything. Well, I guess it was just rough seas. Carry on with your mission.
Yeah, and then at the same time, you have lookouts who are out there, scanning the water for anything, and they should have been using passive sonar at least, which would have clued them into something in the water. Then they would have, flipped into active. But you're the ET, so you'd know more about that than I would.
Yeah, but there's a specific rate for sonar. It's called ST.
Oh, I know, but you have more knowledge of sonar and all that than I do. But yeah,
I mean, we were a carrier, so we might have used it, but I don't know of any systems that used it. I know the Pitslord can use sonar in a
Pit Sword,
way.
yeah. Well, the Pit Sword is more because that was stuff that I
No,
used.
no. It's the Fatho. That's what uses a form of sonar, not the Pitslord.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, Pit Sword speed over water.
Yeah. No, speed through water.
Yeah, speed through water. So
Yeah, GPS is speed over water.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems weird that could even happen. So, and then we got Mary Herms that said, "Sup, y'all from C2C on Frontier Islands." Okay, interesting.
No.
Some-
It's not weird that it would happen. It's weird that they didn't know that it happened.
Yeah,
Right.
That they,
because then it's a cover up.
Mhm.
We didn't do anything wrong. We don't know how this happened. We'll clean it up.
Those Australian sailors were probably just trying to get into port in San Diego.
Pretty much.
So, let's see. I think I have one more story that we can do. This one's a bit risky.
A bit risky. Okay.
Risque. So, but I said I'd say this one for backup in case we need it. All right. If my screen is up, this one says, "Men with bigger noses have bigger penises," says science. So, is your nose that freakishly huge, or are you just happy to see me? You know what they say about men with big hands, right? Or big feet or fingers of certain length. Or our point is, there are a lot of sayings and theories about how the size of different body parts correlate with the size of a dude's manhood. If you can't remember them all, we have good news for you. Science has figured out where you should be looking. And the answer is a little bit on the nose. So, a new Japanese study published in the journal Basic and Clinical Andrology, discovered that there is a correlation between the size of a man's nose and his dingling. Basically, the bigger the nose, the bigger the penis. This study is the first to demonstrate the relationship between stretched penis length, SPL, and nose size. The research team writes in the study. And just so we're clear, SPL means the maximum length of the penis during erection. This means that the guy's nose is a good indicator of what his equipment is like when standing at attention. It also means that the nose metric is reliable when it comes to getting down and dirty. If your big nose lover seems disappointing initially, he's probably just a grower, not a shower. Dead dongs. While a study undeniably has naughty implications, the actual research took place in one of the least sexy places on the planet, namely a morgue. You in the back, put your hand down. No, you're not allowed to argue against that. The research team examined a total of 126 male cadavers at the Kyoto Prefectural University of Medicine. Their actual goal was to determine whether the size ratios of body parts could help determine the age of badly decomposed bodies during forensic investigation. The scientists explained that based on previous research, the level of post-mortem serum prostate-specific antigen, PSA, and the size of the prostate correlate with age. They wanted to know if there are any other such indicators that could help investigators figure out how old a corpse was at the time of death. However, reading the study, it becomes pretty clear that the researchers may have gotten slightly sidetracked. We investigated whether the size of the male genitalia similarly exposed to serum testosterone during aging could change with age, they say. Saying big nose, big hose suggests that nose size indicates penile length. However, scientific reports that prove this statement are not available to date, the researchers added. So in order to answer this pressing question, they measured the flaccid and erect penis length and girth of the bodies. In addition, they took measurements of the noose, both testicles, the prostate, and the cadaver's height and weight.
Wait, stop. Wait. What did that say? So in order to answer this pressing question, they measured the flaccid and erect penis length of dead people.
Yes.
How?
So you can inflate the penis with a pneumatic pump.
They're really going that far?
Apparently.
I mean, come on.
So in like treatment for like priapism,
God damn it, Japan.
They inject the needle into the penis, and while the person being operated on is unconscious, so they inject the needle in the tip of it, inflate it, and then deglove it, fix the priapism issue, and then reglove it and deflate it. But
they're talking about dead people.
Hey, they got curious.
And this is Japan. So it's like, a sample size of Japanese people, okay, a big nose with Japanese people, is leading them to a conclusion that a bigger nose is a bigger penis.
Well,
but
maybe they're hoping other, sources of higher education will take suit and continue their research.
Because I was just watching Russell Peters, and like he did a show in India, and it's the stereotype that Indian men are not well endowed, and their noses are big. So
it's true.
Now you're gonna have to like boil this down to demographics, but
it's a good point. So yeah, and that's what I said. Maybe other sources of higher learning need to jump on and kind of get the demographics sorted out. But
right,
we got such pointless results. The results of the study found that there's pretty much a direct correlation between the sizes of the nose and the penis. Men with the nose measuring 2.1 inches in size had an average SPL of 5.3 inches. On the other end of the scale, the average direct manhood of the guys with 1.7 inch noses came to barely over 4 inches. Basically, adding just 2/5 of an inch to the nose increases the length of a man's dong by more than an inch. However, before you start measuring your own nose, you should be aware of the limited scope of the study. The researchers examined only Japanese men, and note that the results may not be universally applicable. That is, until scientists in other countries replicate the study. When it comes to the actual applicable results of the study, well, let's hear it from the scientists themselves. Our results are useless for forensic purposes, they say, meaning that they achieved absolutely nothing of what they set out to do. However, they point out that understanding the growing process of the penis or facial features may be very important for extrapolating fetal androgen levels and following male genital functions, so there's that. Calculating satisfaction, only one question remains to be answered. What is the nose size that you should be looking for to find the ideal dong? Well, let's first figure out what the best penis size is. Lucky for us, Big One Dating recently did all the hard work for us, at least when it comes to the ladies. The site surveyed 4,761 women to discover the penis size that's most likely to result in female orgasm during penetration. Based on their data, we can see that the ideal penis size is, drumroll, 8 inches. So an 8-inch penis resulted in a 44% female orgasm rate, the best in the study. Go any bigger or smaller, and the orgasm rate starts dropping. While we don't know how reliable this data is, we're going to use it for our purposes. So assuming that the ideal penis is 8 inches long, what size nose correlates with that? After some quick math exercises, we have our answer. An 8-inch penis correlates with a nose that is almost exactly 6 inches long when measured from between your eyes to the outside of the nose wings. So going like
so it's
that.
Like, from, what did it say?
So from between the eyes to the outside of the nose wings. So you'll
between your eyes to
like
here.
Right. Yeah. So you need to have
so this 6 inches.
Yeah. So you're talking about having a nose like that long.
Jesus.
So yeah. So that's quite a nose.
I mean, I'm not one of those math doing Asians, but that doesn't add up.
I'm not one of those math doing Asians.
I mean, they did the study, inflated dead penises, and they came up with the conclusion of, well, but then again, it's Japan, and when the average penis is like what? The biggest they've seen there is like 5, and so like 8 inches is like, 6-inch nose. I mean, we have to account for X, whatever the variable is. Like,
I don't think that theory is going to hold much water.
Well, I mean, it doesn't hold much water to have like a 6-inch nose from like here to here.
Yeah, I know.
That's like maybe 2 inches.
Yeah. See, there must be, because they were saying
there's no way. There's no way.
because one person they said had like a 2 point something inch, and another one was like a 1.7 inch nose. So yeah, your average nose is probably going to be between 1.5 to 3.5 inches, I'd say.
Right. And this is like the wing. It's not like to the tip, So that means if the wider your nose, then the bigger you are then, right?
Yeah, I guess that's what it's getting at. If you have one of those huge like monster schnozzes that looks
Or
like,
you just have like one of those like wide ones, right?
I have to get you fit. Yeah. We need,
Or it just has to be like long and then like flat.
Come on, Yale and Harvard. We need your scientific input.
It's basically just have like a triangle on your face. Like a jack-o'-lantern is pretty much the ideal specimen.
Ideal specimen. So that was interesting.
Man.
That's the last bit of story that I've got for today. So
all right. It's been fun, man. I miss doing this. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to get on here.
Oh, I understand, dude. So, and you're probably gonna be going and take a nap and all that stuff, aren't you?
Oh, I'm like gonna die. I had to do like a schedule switch, and I got like I don't know 4.5 hours or something after a 12-hour day.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that's just like a 12.5-hour shift. The day was like longer, but anyways, I digress.
So, all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Y'all have yourselves a great weekend. Thank you for joining us. Catch back with me this coming up Friday on the W Hideout for some music. Again, we're doing movie music, and then the week after that, we're going to be doing Memorial Day weekend music. And make sure you check out all the other shows. Check us out on Facebook at Ale Train Fighters at 1700 somewhere, and all the other social medias. Anything you got to say, Don?
Check out my page, Game With Me Senpai. I'm playing Resident Evil 8 now. I ran through Resident Evil 7, which was crazy enough, but now that 8's out, I'm giving that a run through. There are like jump scares in it, but not as like crazy as when I played like Pacify. I was like screaming like a little girl. Yeah, that lady comes out of nowhere. So,
and at some point we're gonna have to get on and stream some Valheim.
So. Oh yes, definitely. So be on the lookout for maybe tomorrow, maybe the next few days. I'm running on fumes today, but let's try and set something up tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. So, all right, y'all have a good one. We're gonna end broadcast now. We'll catch you next week.
Later, guys.